Good morning, Mega Podlings. Crazy Joe here, and this is a very new idea I had, and I'm probably going to be shooting this over the course of time. So when you see the edited version, my shirt might change because I'm probably going to be recording these little by little and then compiling them. But today's video is called It Used to Be a Movie Theater, and I decided to track places from the town I grew up that used to be a movie theater. And we are at the Lawrence Park Barnes & Noble in Lawrence Park, Broomall. This Lawrence Park Barnes & Noble used to be a movie theater. This was the Lawrence Park Eric Theater. It opened in 1957 and it closed in 1991. It opened in October of 57, closed October 20th, 1991. This movie theater, now a bookstore, is where I saw Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, for the first time. Other movies I saw here include Jason Takes Manhattan, first Friday the 13th movie I ever saw in a theater, was right here. And also Problem Child. I saw Problem Child here. That might have been the last movie I ever saw here. My memory is a little foggy on that, but those are three of the movies I saw right here. Interesting fact about this old movie theater: actor Bruce Davison, star of the movie Willard. A lot of people of our generation might know him as Senator Kelly from the X-Men movies. He worked here as an usher when he was younger. Behind me you see a Dollar Tree. This used to be the Eric Pilgrim Gardens movie theater. It was opened in January of 1969 and it closed sometime in the 1980s. Don't have an exact date on when it closed. But this movie theater, I know I would have seen a lot of movies here when I was a kid, but really only one is vividly in my mind. I saw GoBot's Battle of the Rock Lords in this Dollar Tree. And I remember it because it was a birthday party. It was my birthday party. So it would have been March of probably 86, I think that movie came out. So in March of 86, we celebrated my birthday. And it would have been my 10th birthday in this Dollar Tree. And I remember vividly that I wasn't used to going to the movies with a lot of friends. Usually it was my mom and dad took me to the movies, and we talked and laughed all through the movie. Basically, we were a bunch of obnoxious kids, and Joe of today would have wanted to beat up Joe of then, because I don't like people who are loud and distracting in movie theaters. But that was me at age 10 right here. GoBot's Battle of the Rock Lords. I'm sure I saw a lot of movies here, but for some reason that's the only one that vividly sticks out in my mind. And this was the Eric Pilgrim Gardens movie theater in Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, now a Dollar Tree. The sign on the building still says Waverly, but the Waverly movie theater has not been housed in this building since the mid-80s. It is now a pub. And in fact, the pub has changed hands since last time I was here. It used to be called McGillicuddy's, and now it's called, I don't know what it's called. The sign says Murphy's, and the sign also says Hanrahan's. It's got two names, I don't know. But the point is, it's not the Waverly movie theater anymore. Back in the 1980s, first of all, this was a movie theater from 1927. It opened in October of 1927 and closed in the mid-80s. This theater is where I saw Empire Strikes Back, The Dark Crystal. I saw The Fox and the Hound, Walt Disney's Song of the South, and Superman 2, which is another one of my all-time favorite movies. And it all was right here back in the 80s. And I was very sad as a kid to see this movie theater close. This building is now a Modell's Sporting Goods, and it has been a Modell's Sporting Goods for quite some time, but this used to be the Clifton Heights United Artists Twin movie theater. In this theater, I saw Back to the Future for the first time. I saw Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country here. I saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit here. I saw Dick Tracy here. I saw a lot of movies here. Die Hard 2. This was within walking distance of my house. So I used to, when I got old enough to walk to the movies alone, I used to come here often because I could just walk here. And before it went out of business, it became a $1.50 theater. So all shows were $1.50. They would get second run movies. Army of Darkness, I believe. I saw Army of Darkness here for $1.50, if memory serves. Now, it opened in 1966 as a movie theater. Nobody really, if you look online, nobody really remembers exactly when it closed, but it was most probably 1993. In 1993, there's a building over there. It's now an Acme supermarket. It used to be a big shopping center called the Bazaar of All Nations. And there's a documentary about the Bazaar of All Nations that you could watch. It's called the Bazaar of All Nations documentary. And if you're from the Delaware County area, it's definitely worth watching. But that used to be there, and it closed in 93, and an Acme came in, and I think that this movie theater closed right around the same time. There's some images online of when it was still an active movie theater that show that the marquee says that Falling Down was playing there. And Falling Down with Michael Douglas was a 1993 film. So at least as far back as 1993, this was a movie theater. There's something interesting that I learned from the Bazaar documentary that I did not know because it was before my time. President Nixon gave a campaign speech right here in front of the theater back sometime in the, either, I guess it would have been the maybe around the early 70s, late 60s. Nixon was here. So that's kind of interesting. Behind me you will see a TJ Maxx. Well, from 1949 to 1991, that TJ Maxx was the Cityline Center movie theater on City Avenue in Philadelphia. I saw at that theater the Annie, the original Annie, Blade Runner. For some odd reason, my aunt and uncle took me to see Blade Runner at a very young age. Vastly inappropriate for a child of my age, but for some reason they took me. And the last movie I think I saw here was Ernest Goes to Jail. I saw Ernest Goes to Jail right in that TJ Maxx. Also, I have distinct memories of my mom taking me to see the Smurfs and the Magic Flute there. But today, it's a TJ Maxx. I'm coming to you from the Old Sproul Shopping Center in Springfield, Pennsylvania, my hometown. And behind me here, you will find a building that is currently under construction. Until recently, this building was a Office Depot, but they recently went out of business, and as you can see, they're being demolished or refitted or something. But it was an Office Depot, and before that, it was a Kids R Us. That's right, not a Toys R Us, not a Babies R Us, a Kids R Us. Do you remember Kids R Us? That was a thing for a while. It was a Toys R Us owned children's clothing store. But the reason I'm here is from 1964 until 1992, this was a movie theater. It was opened in 1964 by a company called Budco. It was eventually sold to AMC, and when it closed in January 1992, this was the AMC Springfield Twin. And this movie theater is where I saw E.T., not for the first time. It was like my second or third time seeing E.T., but I saw E.T. here as a child. I saw Back to the Future Part 3. I saw Jetsons the movie here. Those are just a few of the movies I saw here before they closed in 1992. Now, the actual theater was tucked back a bit. The new construction was built closer to the road. The theater was actually farther back. We're at the back of the building. This is the back of the Office Depot that is now under construction. The movie theater was kind of tucked back here, and you actually didn't even see it from the road. There was parking lot and trees in the front end, so you kind of had to come into the lot and go around to get to the theater. So this isn't, the front of the building isn't exactly where the movie theater was. It was more over here, but it used to be a movie theater. Behind me is the Delaware County Memorial Hospital Sports Rehabilitation Center. From 1974 until 1993, that was the Eric Barclay Square Twin movie theater. It was at this theater I saw Batman in 1989. I can't remember a lot of the other movies I saw there, but I know in my youth I frequented this theater quite frequently, and I actually have a picture of what it used to look like, thanks to the Cinema Treasures website. So let's take a look at what it looks like now, and we'll compare it to what it looked like back then. Behind me here is the historic Lansdowne Theater, opened in 1927. It was out of business for a long, long time, but there have been a lot of efforts to restore the theater, and I believe it's been used recently as a concert venue because of all the efforts to revive the place. But it was opened in 1927, closed as a movie theater in about 1987, and recently they've been reviving the place, and someday I think they're going to show movies there again. I saw Star Trek III: The Search for Spock here in 1984, which was the first Star Trek movie I saw in the movie theater, and as many of you know, Star Trek is my all-time favorite franchise, so my first Star Trek movie ever was right here. This theater was actually a filming location. It was seen in the movie Silver Linings Playbook, the 2012 movie Silver Linings Playbook. Exterior scene happened right here with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. They were right there. They stood right in front of the building. I'm coming to you now from the parking lot of the McDade Mall in Holmes, Pennsylvania. And from 1970 until 2003, there was a movie theater inside this mall. It was at that movie theater that I saw Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, and Scrooged. Scrooged is one that is very memorable. This movie theater had a bit of a rough reputation, and I remember in 1988, I was in grade school. My parents took me to see Scrooged, and a beer bottle whizzed past my head. Someone from the back of the theater threw a beer bottle, and it just missed my head. This was not the theater you wanted to come to if you could avoid it. It was not exactly a nice theater, but it was a movie theater from 1970 till 2003. Now, this mall was actually a filming location as well. Peter Jackson transformed this mall into a 1970s mall for his 2009 movie, The Lovely Bones. If you watch The Lovely Bones, the mall scene was shot in here. Now, inside the Kmart, there used to be a hole in the wall that led like a mall entrance inside the Kmart. There was an entrance inside the Kmart that led into the mall, and the movie theater was right there on the other side of the mall entrance of the Kmart. Let's go in the Kmart and see if that mall entrance is still there. The mall entrance that led to the movie theater was right along that wall. It's not there anymore. This isn't even a mall anymore. It's a strip mall now. It's not an indoor mall in the traditional sense. So it is gone. So that's going to do it for It Used to Be a Movie Theater, my retrospective review of the former movie theaters of Delaware County, Pennsylvania, the movie theaters where I saw the movies that I grew up with, the movies that made me who I am today. Hope you enjoyed this. If you don't live in the area, you might be like, hey, why do I care where there used to be a movie theater in the neighborhood Crazy Joe grew up in? If you didn't care, you didn't have to watch the video, but it was fun to do. And Cinema Sickness said he might like to join me for a second volume where he shows me the movie theaters he grew up with. We go to his area and he shows me what used to be a movie theater in the neighborhood he grew up with. So maybe if we can find the time, we'll do that. It actually took me months to complete this video because I actually live 45 minutes away from here now, and I would shoot it piecemeal as I came back here. But it was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. Special thanks to everyone at cinematreasures.com because I got a lot of information from that site. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the backdoor flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander pajamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.